So?
Don't
Well,
start off a sentence with so.
Oh, okay.
Well.
Welcome to another RiderCamTV video. And today we're going to have a look at perhaps some of the differences between BMW Minis.
What are you talking about?
S1000RR 2020 version. My new bike. Mark has got this one. This is the S1000RR from BMW, which is the 2018 version.
I think so. I think we've ridden this before.
Yeah.
I am fresh out of surgery now after having my hips put back in again, but you know, I enjoyed it. It's an awesome bike.
Comes with age, doesn't it?
Easy, Ginger.
You don't look back for 69.
I know. I'm actually 4019.
4019. I can get you into a shelter by nightfall. Anyway, what great bikes. We've
awesome bikes.
Just had the pleasure of taking them both out to see what's different. Now this 2020 version that I'm stood in front of, and you'll see the video, we've done a review on it. This has been reworked apparently. It's that, but it's been reworked, and there isn't a bolt that's on that is on this one. Mainly because it's on that one.
There you go.
But they've reworked everything apparently from the ground up, and it really does show.
This is an awesome bike.
Yeah.
But it looks a bit dated compared to that. I don't know whether it's the colour scheme and the fact that this is black, but it does look a bit dated.
So this one has got, I did it again, so. Gonna have to stop starting sentences with so.
It's just, you're on trend, mate, that's what it is.
On trend?
Well.
Didn't you know? Right, this bike, the 2020 version, LED everything, it's got a TFT screen. Like we say, it's been reworked from the ground up. The dynamic suspension is absolutely incredible on it. This one, say from riding this one and riding that one, this one's almost got a propensity to not...
Propensity?
Yeah,
isn't that what a fly has? Oh, that's a proboscis, isn't it?
I think like. This one skips about a bit, which is nice. It feels a little bit more lively in one kind of sense, because the back wants to skip about. This one, you know, the bike is skipping about, but that wizardry on the bike is doing such a good job that wheel is stuck to the ground. And it's so much confidence inspiring on this bike for that to be stuck on the ground and it be doing everything that it needs to do. It's just insane.
I love this bike. I really do like it.
And I like this one.
I know.
Rocket Man!
But, you know, for practicality wise,
yeah,
no good for me, but awesome.
Why not? You can carry a wallet and a phone in your pocket. There's no panniers. The turning circle is hideously bad.
I think it's the same size as a small European country.
Yeah. However, what we should not be doing, I've been trying to not compare it in any way to my bike.
Don't mention that. Don't mention it again, right?
Because they're so different.
I don't know. I love the bike.
Yeah.
Awesome piece of machinery, but it doesn't do it for me in as much as I feel your neck is back in this. I don't find the riding position good. My hips are back in place now, even though this is quite a high foot peg, but that's just me, you know. Man, this bike is fast. They're both fast. You know, there's a little turn on the throttle and instantly it's like off down the road. Yeah. And we've said on other videos, you know, I fear for people who have less experience than they think they have riding a bike like this. You know, maybe you should just do some extra training or something like that, you know.
Well, 100%, because that bike's got 199 brake horsepower, and we'll put all the differences up on the screen because there's so many numbers to remember. My brain can't put up with it. That's got 207 brake horsepower. Wow. That's nearly 15 kilos lighter than that one.
And this feels like it weighs nothing.
Yeah. And they're pocket rockets.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, the biggest difference that I can see from riding this one and that one is the torque curve.
Yeah.
So you put the power on this one and it goes...
I'm nodding my head like I know what you're talking about. It's a torque curve. Anyway.
The delivery of the power.
Wow.
So the delivery of the power on this one is really good, and if this was never made, if the 2020 version was never made, you'd think it would be awesome. But the power delivery as you go up gets to a certain point and then it just takes off like a rocket. insane rocket. This one, the power delivery is so consistent from the beginning of you turning that throttle to, even though I had it nowhere near open, but getting all the power, it's just a solid curve. And the curve has got dips and troughs and stuff like that in there, but when you look at the other bikes, and if we can find it online, we'll put it onto the card, the difference in the torque power.
It'll be available somewhere if we can't find it.
It's just insane. This one, it doesn't feel like you're going to get to a point and then suddenly the bike lurches off.
There are a couple of major differences on this though. On the handlebars on this one, they're really quite swept back.
Yeah. And
maybe it's because my hands don't work. I can't straighten my fingers, but I found that quite awkward for myself.
Yeah.
And on the new one, they're pushed a little bit forward, so maybe they've taken that into consideration. However, for counter steering,
yeah,
you just a little bit, because it's so light, you can feel it flick round the corner straight away. It's lovely. And I'm sure that's the same on both.
It is incredible, but you can see what they've done to improve it for the time. For 2020, that's like a milestone in history, isn't it? When you say 2018 to 2019, it's just a year. 2019 to 2020 is just a year, but the meaning in your head means that that's another decade. It's much more important. And I think this really does reflect not only how it looks, but how it rides, the technology that's gone into it, the difference between just that 1 year, but the difference in the decades. Mm-hmm. And it really shows when you're riding it. When you think about things like the LED indicators on this one and the LED brakes on this one, they're all in one thing.
Yeah.
On these, you've got the same LED indicators that are on most of the range of
bulbs in the headlights.
Bulbs in the headlights, whereas this is all LED and it's got that slight blue hue, so you'd be mistaken to think it would be
I do find there's a real contradiction in terms with both bikes though. That bearing in mind what this bike is capable of, bearing in mind where it's getting ridden, how it's getting ridden, it's got a cruise control on both bikes.
I know. Do you remember
I'm cruising at 200 miles an hour.
Do you remember that we took out the 310R and 310 GS, and I got slated in the comments for saying it was a budget bike, but why on a budget bike that's really, really great have they not put all the same switch gear that they've put on the rest of their range on it?
Yep.
And I got slated for that, but surely the time and money that it costs to reform machines to make those things for one model out is far more expensive than just putting the same that's on everything else.
And there is cross-pollination between bikes, because this has got the old, let's say the 2017 switchgear. It just hasn't got the jockey wheel. That has got all the same switchgear as all the rest of the range has.
Yeah.
So they can do it. It's just whether they want to do it. I suppose it comes down to that in the end.
Yeah. And that's the little things that I was going to come on and say is that if they put those on all the range, you can turn on and off the features with the software, and to have things like the suspension. I keep going on about the suspension on this bike, the new one, it's incredible, but to have things like cruise control means that if you do have a little bit of a long ride to do, or you want to put cruise control on, no matter what speed you're doing, you can
around Silverstone.
But you can relax a little bit, so it's not just one of those bikes that years ago you'd have a sports bike that it was either all or nothing, but you had all your weight on there, that to relax that, I guess you would have had to stop the bike, get off and leave it for half an hour. Now you can actually relax a little bit and pull yourself up a little bit. So they're actually thinking a little bit more about not only the rider that is going to take it out and race it, but also the rider that's going to ride it in everyday situations. But I tell you what, the biggest thing for me, the worry about this bike, is that I haven't got the experience to ride it anywhere near its potential. And if I owned one, bear in mind this was 20 grand plus, if I owned one, where would I leave it? I would be really scared, especially at the moment in the UK with all these bikes being stolen all over the place, and it's filtering down into Cornwall as well, which is scary. Yeah. Leaving a 20 grand bike that is only, I can't remember the weight of it, but it's only a couple of 100 kilos, to be lifted really quickly by 2 or 3 burly blokes to put it in a van. I don't know, it's a lot of money to lose, and I'd be really worried about somebody coming and sitting on it. I'm still worried about mine, but with something so powerful and so precious, I don't know, I think it would up the stakes for me about worrying about
I can understand that. I can understand that. But Amazing, but even both of them are amazing bikes.
They are. You won't be sorry if you buy that one, or if you buy that one. It sounds like a bit of a little.
Do you know what tips it for me? And it doesn't normally do that for me, but the colour scheme on that.
Oh yeah.
I think black is such a bland colour. He says dressed in complete black, but you know that's all you're given now with bike gear, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But that, you know, this is the M Sport version as well. So this isn't just the RR. This is the RR M Sport, and this comes with all of the gadgets and gizmos that the normal one that isn't the M Sport comes with. But it's just such a beautiful, beautiful looking machine.
You're walking away from the mic there.
Yeah,
Someone will shout at
Hello,
you.
Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike. And the one thing that this riding that one did for me, because that was the first sports bike I think we reviewed on our channel, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And I remember the elation in my helmet of the endorphins going around my head and talking about the fact that I now know why people buy a sports bike. And I'd never really thought, why would they buy that? I didn't think they were silly, didn't ever criticise the fact that they had them, but couldn't understand the attraction to a bike like that when you couldn't ride it to its potential. Then I got on that. And I'm glad I haven't got one, because I'd probably be dead, because the only thing that I want to do is just scream the hell out of it, enjoy everything that that's made to do. And this has put a bigger smile on my face, because it's meant that all of these gadgets and gizmos that BMW have put in there have made the bike do extra stuff for my inexperienced level on a sports bike.
And that's a worry.
It's kind of worrying as well.
So, practicality.
Yeah,
commuter bikes.
You can get a bag for it and a pannier. We've got a glove box for one glove. The turning circle, like you say, is the size of a small country, but you're not going to be turning that much. But one reason why we say about the turning circle, especially on these bikes, is because where do bikers go from and to? They go to car parks. Mm-hmm. And then you go and get into a car space, and it's like a million. Have you seen Goldmember? Where he's in that hallway going bing ding ding ding. That's what it feels like. But for me, all of those negative things about having a sports bike and having to play around manoeuvring things are all outweighed by the fact that it is just an incredible machine.
So commutering, could you commute on it? Both of them?
I think anybody can commute on any bike.
Cool.
Would I choose to? I don't think I would.
This would be the bike you see doing 90 miles an hour between traffic on the M25.
Yeah.
And then they become a statistic.
Potentially, yeah.
Quite often. Okay, so Tourer.
I think you could. There would be hardened sports riders that would tour.
Yep.
I think I could tour on it, providing I had a way of putting stuff on there. The difficulty for me would be the range in the tank. I think for touring.
When we picked this one up, it had 30 miles left on the tank in the tank, and I put 13, just over 13 litres in it. So I'm assuming it's about a 14 or a 15 litre tank.
Yeah.
So that's probably the way this likes to be ridden. 115 miles, something like that, out of a tank.
And yet on the dashboard on this, it said it had 627 miles in the tank. If that's to be believed,
I'm sure that's not the next service.
I'm sure it said miles, but if that's to be believed, then it's a good tourer. But what do you define as a good tourer? Do you define a good tourer as a touring bike that we've been kind of instilled to think as a touring bike because that's what's been made with panniers and stuff? Do we tour in a different way than somebody on one of these bikes?
I've seen people on sport bikes in Spain touring, from driving from the UK, from the tunnel down into the Pyrenees, and all they had on was bum bags, little waist packs. Wow. And you go, they're touring.
You can even get disposable pants now. You can get disposable.
Can I just say they were absolutely shattered though, because they were just going, they're not looking forward to the journey back, because it's full on. It's full on. Anyway, awesome bikes.
Awesome bikes. I love them to bits. Yeah, definitely the one to get, the 2020. Definitely.
He's bound to say that, isn't he? Right,
definitely.
So, happy with that?
I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that?
If you are, give us a big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Subscribe. He does all that. And
we'll see you in the next video. See ya.